Every billionaire story looks different on the surface. Some built massive tech companies, some built investment empires, others created beloved consumer brands. But when you zoom out, something surprising appears. The same core patterns repeat again and again. Not the same industries, not the same personalities, but the same strategic behaviors. Today we're going to break down 3 hidden patterns that appear in almost every billionaire success story. Once you see them, you'll start recognizing them absolutely everywhere. The first pattern is leverage. Most people believe wealth comes from working harder, but billionaires rarely win through effort alone. They win through leverage. Leverage means using systems that multiply your work: technology, capital, teams, distribution. For example, when Jeff Bezos built Amazon, he didn't simply open a store. He built a system that could sell millions of products simultaneously across the world. The same principle applies to investors. Warren Buffett doesn't earn money through hours worked. He earns through ownership. Stocks continue producing returns whether he works or not. This is the first pattern. Billionaires focus less on effort and more on systems that scale. The second pattern is patience. In a world that glorifies speed and instant gratification, the ability to play the long game is a rare and powerful advantage. It's a strategic decision to operate on a different timeline from the rest of the world, trading short-term validation for long-term, monumental success. This isn't passive waiting, it's active, strategic patience. Most people think in days. Their focus is consumed by daily headlines, stock price fluctuations, and immediate tasks. This short-term perspective creates a cycle of reaction, constantly responding to the noise of the present moment rather than building towards a distant, more significant goal. Some think in months. This is the rhythm of the corporate world, driven by quarterly earnings reports and annual reviews. While a step up from daily thinking, it still prioritizes predictable, incremental gains over transformative, long-term innovation. But billionaires often think in decades. They plant seeds for forests they may not see in full bloom for 20 or 30 years. This decadal mindset allows them to undertake massive, industry-defining projects that would be impossible under the pressure of short-term expectations. They're not just participating in the market, they are fundamentally reshaping it for the future. Take Elon Musk. When Tesla struggled in its early years, many investors believed the company would fail. The media called it a pipe dream, and Wall Street analysts predicted bankruptcy. The pressure to abandon the mission was immense, with every quarterly loss amplified as proof of impending doom. But Musk wasn't focused on the next quarter. He was focused on the next decade. His vision wasn't just about selling a few electric cars, it was about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. That required a timeline that stretched far beyond a single financial year. The same pattern appears in Jeff Bezos' strategy for Amazon. For years, the company reinvested profits instead of maximizing short-term earnings. Wall Street was baffled, shareholders clamored for dividends, but Bezos famously wrote in his first letter to shareholders, "It's all about the long term." He was building infrastructure, not just an online store. Why? Because long-term thinking creates massive advantage. It allows you to make investments that your competitors, trapped in short-term thinking, cannot justify. You can build moats in technology, infrastructure, and brand that become nearly insurmountable over time. While others chase quick results, billionaires build momentum. It's the principle of compounding, applied not just to money, but to knowledge, reputation, and market position. Each patient, strategic move adds another layer, another gear to the machine. The initial progress is slow, almost imperceptible, but over a decade, that accumulated momentum becomes an unstoppable force, creating the empires we see today. The third pattern is calculated risk. This isn't about blindly leaping into the unknown, it's a disciplined practice, a mental muscle honed over years of analysis and experience. It's the ability to stand at the edge of a monumental decision, feel the weight of uncertainty, and still move forward with conviction because you've done the work. You've mapped the terrain, anticipated the storms, and packed for the journey. This is the art of making uncertainty your ally, not your enemy. From the outside, billionaire decisions sometimes look reckless. The media loves to frame these moves as high-stakes poker games, wild gambles made on a whim. They paint a picture of impulsive mavericks throwing caution to the wind. It's a dramatic narrative, but it misses the quiet, meticulous preparation that happens behind the curtain. What appears as a sudden, daring leap is often the final, logical step of a long and carefully planned ascent. But in reality, the risks are rarely random. Every potential pitfall is identified. Every worst-case scenario is modeled. Contingency plans are built for the contingency plans. It's a process of de-risking, of systematically turning a mountain of unknowns into a manageable set of probabilities. The goal isn't to eliminate risk entirely. That's impossible. The goal is to understand it so deeply that you know exactly which risks are worth taking. They're strategic. Take Richard Branson launching Virgin Atlantic. He was entering an industry dominated by giants. On paper, it looked like suicide. The market was a fortress, protected by legacy carriers with colossal fleets, established routes, and immense political influence. They had a stranglehold on the lucrative transatlantic routes. To any conventional analyst, this was not a market to enter. It was a market to avoid at all costs. But he understood something important. He saw that the giants, in their complacency, had forgotten who they were serving. They were focused on logistics, on moving bodies from point A to point B as efficiently as possible. They had stopped thinking about the human experience of travel. Their greatest strength, their size, had become their greatest weakness, making them slow, bureaucratic, and deaf to customer dissatisfaction. If the product experience was dramatically better, customers would switch. Branson's calculation was that people didn't just want a flight, they wanted an event. They wanted to feel valued, entertained, and comfortable. By focusing obsessively on service, comfort, and a touch of rock and roll flair, he could create a brand that people would not just choose, but actively love and advocate for. Strategic risk isn't about gambling. Gambling is accepting odds you cannot influence. Strategic risk is about fundamentally changing the odds in your favor through superior insight and execution. It's about finding the one variable that everyone else has overlooked and making it the cornerstone of your entire strategy. It's about seeing an opportunity others ignore. It's the ability to look at the same landscape as everyone else, but see a hidden path. While others see an impenetrable wall, the strategic thinker sees a loose brick. This vision isn't mystical. It's born from deep domain expertise, relentless curiosity, and a willingness to question the core assumptions of an industry. And moving before the crowd. So when you study billionaire success stories, 3 patterns appear again and again. Leverage instead of effort, long-term thinking instead of short-term reactions, and calculated risk instead of hesitation. Different industries, different personalities, but the same strategic behaviors, because wealth isn't random, it follows patterns. If you value systems over noise, subscribe to MindRipple for more billionaire stories and lifestyle.